I decided that I wanted to work with business owners, and that's why I ended up finding Agora Advantage. At that time, it was just prior to Vince taking over as CEO, and that really excited me where his direction was leading Agora Advantage, because it really just seemed to be a perfect fit for me. And since then, Agora Advantage has just completely changed, due to Vince's direction. He's really just completely added so much there, and now we have a really great tool. What we don't have yet is a nice little systematic approach to things, and I've been looking for that. And I've been looking for ways to create that, to kind of, in a sense, automate and to make it duplicatable. And I know I had some phone calls last year, around this time last year, with that in mind. And I think the Agora marketplace and everything is really in place now to just really take a good idea like that and run with it. And I had an idea, and so I'll tell you a quick story. So I was on a call with a personal call between me and a couple of people with Vince about 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about LinkedIn, and he says he just recently had 10,000 connections on LinkedIn, and I think I made a comment, something to the effect of, that's quite a few, how long did it take you to do? And he was like, well, it's something I've been working on for the last year. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty quick. I've only got like 350 people. And he's like, oh yeah, what you do is you use your LinkedIn app on your phone, and you can, if you do it on there, it's actually really, really easy. And so while I'm on the phone with him, I decided to try it out while I'm right there talking with him. I'm like, open it up. Now, he's got an iPhone. I've got an Android. And sure enough, it worked perfectly. I could literally sit there and just hit connect, 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 connect. I mean, I could connect faster than I could say connect, connect, connect. And it was really startling how many. So that week, I decided every time that I was waiting for a meeting, or I had to pick up Amy a couple of times, and every time I was doing nothing, I decided I'd take a couple of minutes out and just sit there and do that. And by doing that, I went from 350 connections. In the first week, I had somewhere around 800, and now I've got around 1,300. And so that's great. I mean, and I think that's something that probably a lot of people would really like to know. But there's a lot of other things about LinkedIn that once you have that, could be really useful. So what I got thinking about is, wouldn't it be kind of interesting, a nice approach in LinkedIn to be able to use that to promote Agora Advantage? So here's kind of my proposal now. What I'm looking for, if you all would, please take some notes if you can. I don't know, some of you may be in situations where you can't do that, but if you would, at least maybe, or if you can chat in the chat box so it's interactive, that's great as well. What I'm going to do is kind of run through a breakdown of my idea, and then we can kind of perfect it and refine it and do all that kind of stuff. So as I say here, LinkedIn's a great resource for people to find new leads, connections for selling, job searches, new alliances, invitations to events, consultation. There's all kinds of reasons that people would want LinkedIn connections. The problem often is that people don't know how to build it really quickly and conveniently. So this is a really nice, useful tool. The other thing is that once they have those connections, how do they really best work with them? And so that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to show you actually a little screen share that Vince took. Hopefully you can see this. This is him actually doing a connection. So you can't see his finger, obviously, but you can see how quickly he's moving through these connections. And that's what I can do on mine. Now, I think his phone's a little faster than mine. I'm probably at half that speed. But I can connect really quickly. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. I spend like 3-4 minutes, and I'm able to connect with hundreds of people, or at least 800 people in that short period of time. So let me see if I can, hold on a second, I got to close that out. I'm going to go back to my Word document. There we go. So, so I just showed you how the Speed Connect part works. Now, some things that might be useful to know is how LinkedIn actually makes its connections. It tends to geo-target first, and that you can actually change a little bit. So if, I'm here in Reno, it's automatically going to choose connections that are close to me in the Reno area. However, if I, for some reason, decide I want to make connections in Boston, Massachusetts, if I keep selecting people from Boston, Massachusetts, it's going to start figuring out, I don't care about Reno people. I care about, Boston. And so it will begin feeding me leads like that. It also prefers to, I think there's another, by profession, you can see down here. And then from there, it basically, you're going to be reaching first, second, and third level relationships with the connections that you have. So you're going to see their connections, and you can connect to them. So that's basically how you're making these connections. Vince has already figured out, and it's definitely true. I looked around about this. It will build faster if you are using their premium. Now, the premium is free for 1 month, LinkedIn Premium, $60 a month if you pay monthly, or I think it's around $550 for an annual subscription, and so it's a little cheaper that way. But it isn't necessary. You can still build really quickly. You can still use it very effectively. If you have a really big database already, like Vince, where he's got 10,000, you might actually find using the paid version well worth your time. I think you probably would. As I say, I've been able to add around 500 people a week. There's also something, and I haven't had a chance to research this much, but I just found out on the app, both iPhone and Android, there's something called Find Nearby. That might be something useful, but I haven't researched it much. I just found it today. Now, yeah, Vince is saying he added over 10,000 without paying anything. So he was doing this without using the paid version. Now, you're adding a lot of connections all the time, so what we want to be able to do, though, is be able to use it right, use it correctly. So here's what works on LinkedIn. Personal messages not geared towards a pitch. Those are much better than pitching somebody. You're probably just not going to. Another thing that people tend to do is they post material on their timeline, which is great. You should do that, but don't expect to get a lot out of that. You're going to need to get people to share it, or it's going to need to be extraordinarily compelling. LinkedIn without the premium is not going to give you much of a reach. So don't rely on that really doing much. And I've talked to a lot of people about that. And that's been their experience as well. What you want to try to do is create relationships. And another thing is giving somebody something of value, and that's where this whole idea comes in. And just FYI, if you do post something, it does help if you use at least a picture, but a video is much better. And then consider targeting the audience. So if you have something that appeals to HVAC or, plumbers or something like that, or CPAs or whatever. Actually put it in the post that you're targeting them. Hey, CPAs, this might be interesting. So there's some information for you about LinkedIn. So now let's actually take this on the road. So you can see here, I've got a little script, and I'm going to show you how I would use it. Now, there may be a better way, and I'm open to hearing about this. But this is what I'm going to recommend. So I'm going to go to my LinkedIn, which is right here. You can see, and by the way, let's see where I'm at now. That's actually outdated because I know my phone app just said that I had over 1270 something. So I think it was like 1280. So for some reason, this is showing something different. But I'm going to click on Connections. And you can see all of my connections. Now, how it actually lays this out in here is based on how recently I connected with them. Top is going to be all the people I recently connected with. On the bottom is going to be those that I connected with, over the last years, right? Now, what I'm going to do is go all the way to the bottom. And the reason I'm going to do that is because at the bottom, because of how they've categorized these, that is going to change. So I can work my way up and, into the newer relationships and be able to mark who I recently talked to and who I've messaged. And I can do that in an organized way that's very quick. So this is how I've done it in the past. And like I say, you can let me know if you found faster ways to do this. Okay, so I'm going to just pretend that I'm already down there. You can see this is not quite there. I've probably got another few minutes. It'll take a little while the first time you do it. Now, here's the thing. If you click on any of these people and then hit your back button, you're going to start right back at the top again. So you don't want to do that. What you do want to do is right-click over their name, and you can open it in a new tab. And that's how I do it. So there we go. You can see I'm adding a new tab up here. Now I've got these people. Now I can message them. And I've just cut and paste. And good morning. See, I just added this message. And now I can put her name, which I can do this. And then you can see I just highlighted that. I can post her name in there. And then in this message, I have another place where I've done that. And there I'm ready to send it. I'm not going to send it, but let me just say that with that, once you get good at this, you should be able to do quite a few. I mean, you should be able to get a good 20 or 30 of these in a minute. And so you can message in 5 minutes. My estimation is around about 100 people, more or less. Whoops. I meant to go here. So that's actually pretty good. And now that's just going top to bottom. Now, there are situations, and I'm going to give us a situation like that, in fact, a lot of situations like that, where you might want to target people. In that situation, maybe you want to target CPAs. So in that scenario, what you do and what I would do is start at the bottom, but every time I came across a CPA, I would message them. Now that is going to take a little longer because you're actually going to have to search for them, but you can do that pretty quickly. And I still think you can probably get around 20 to 30 people in 5 minutes. So if you did that for 5 minutes each day, you could reach, potentially around 150 people. That's pretty good for 5 minutes worth of work. I don't know if any of you have ever knocked on doors or, visited businesses or made phone calls, but that's actually pretty good time, use, in my estimation. Now, I'm going to just go through some of these points here. Starting at the bottom, I already talked about that. Depending on the upcoming subject matter, you may want to target people. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. The point should be to start a conversation, so you shouldn't be pitching anything. And I got to say that really just doesn't work. I've tried it a bunch of times. It just doesn't work. Pitching people just turns people off. You want to either find something of value to give them, or ask them a question about their own business or their expertise. Try to share something, whatever it is, but don't pitch them. You should try to personalize it. If it looks like it's been cut and paste, they're going to probably assume it was cut and paste. Let's see here. I think I covered that, and I covered this. For the calls that I'm going to be talking about, we don't want to let them know that these calls are going to be recorded, but I am going to be recording them. So I want to look at it also from the standpoint of the person that we're connecting with. So with that message, I'll go back up to it. I was recently introduced to a discount business services company, and they put on free calls to help business leaders. Next Tuesday, they're going to be holding a screen share for LinkedIn to use LinkedIn more effectively. They're usually only about 20 minutes long, but I found it very valuable. I have found a lot of helpful ideas. As an example, I added around 500 connections a week without spending any of my time or money, and got some other great ideas for my business. I just wanted to reach out to you. Let me know if you'd like to listen in. I'll get the info to you. Just do me a favor and let me know if you thought it helped you too. Have a great day. So that's the message. Now, if you got a message like that, or a similar message that's somewhat conversational, do you think you might respond to that? And if we design the messaging well enough, and this is just kind of spur of the moment, I didn't spend a whole lot of time putting this together. If we put a decent enough message in there, we could, I think, attract an awful lot of people to listen to the call and to give us an opportunity to introduce Agora Advantage. So now I'm going to go down here. So in that scenario, even if they weren't interested in that particular information, they might be interested in further information later on down the road. And so what I want to be able to do is use this as an introductory, a conversation starter, to let them know that we're going to put on ongoing phone calls on all kinds of different business topics. And so we're just some points about that. We're going to keep it quick and concise. The introductory call is going to have valuable information about LinkedIn, not just about the connecting really quickly and adding so many people so quickly, but other information. We'll introduce Agora from both the alliance and the product standpoint. We'll let participants know that we have upcoming calls, and that's going to be useful for all of us because, okay, what if we each focus on adding a whole bunch of new people to our own connections? Now, that's an unlimited source of new connections. And let's say that we post a simple message to each one of these people as we're going through. And let's say 10% of them respond. If I can do 500 a week, that means there's 50 people who I could potentially get on a call. And if I could get some of those people to be interested in using that same call for their own purposes to make another nice, simple connection, even if they weren't interested in Agora themselves, But if maybe they saw this as something, a nice offer for somebody that they were trying to attract and start a conversation with, we, I think, could explode how many people got on these calls and who were exposed to Agora Advantage. And if all of our teams were doing this and we were continually growing our teams this way, it's just a way to really, I think, potentially have exponential growth. So we'll show them how to use this. We'll also show them about how to use this to, how to teach others to do the same thing for their businesses, and make it duplicatable even for those who aren't Agora Advantage members. Now what I want to do is talk about some of the topics, give you some ideas of how I see us being able to use this. So here's some ideas. So here's a headline: Why you should not trust that your CPA is finding all the tax savings you qualify for. So that could be a topic, and we could have a message that we target certain people, and we'll say, hey, we're going to be having an upcoming call on this particular subject. I thought since you were a business owner or a CFO or whatever it is, a manager perhaps, this might be something that you'd be interested in. And then you can see I've come up with all kinds of different topics. I mean, and one other thing that LinkedIn uses a lot of is it's used for job hunting. A lot of those job hunting people might be interested in being an advisor with Agora Advantage. So there's another area. Now, this part here, actually, I'd like potentially to have Diana Ringer talk a little bit about, because she's used Facebook Live quite a bit. Now, here are some of the advantages that I think Facebook Live could bring to this. So, for one, it offers the ability to personally market the calls on Facebook. So, in other words, we don't just reach LinkedIn people, but we also reach Facebook people. Facebook likes Facebook Live, obviously, and because of that, it promotes these events much more than it typically does your other postings. So when we post a upcoming Facebook Live event, it's very likely that we're going to reach a lot of people. It's like having an ad out there. So that's actually really, really powerful. When they're done, we can edit these and we can use these videos in our marketplace and connect them, and we can post them in other places, and we can target people afterwards that we think might be interested in that particular call. You can also get ratings and reviews from the participants on Facebook. And then we might be able to do the same, I'm not sure, but we could probably get people to share these on LinkedIn. And as I say here, I know I've talked to Vince a little bit about it, but the idea is hopefully to be able to use these in the marketplace to help make some of these products a little more automated in a sense, so that we have conversations going on actively about many of the products that we have in the marketplace as we promote them. And just one other thing I wanted to point out in here, you'll notice I go by, some of these conversations are targeting certain industries. Some of them are talking about a particular, topic. And some of them are literally shout-outs to certain, professions. So we have, a number of different ways we can connect with people. And then finally, these calls can be used in our marketplace as a resource to learn about the products. That's something I just talked about. We can use tags, and we can also splice the calls up so that information about a certain topic can be associated with that product. And it can give us also material for email campaigns or for when we're, support material, when we're talking about a particular product. We can use these recorded calls and send a link to that call to a prospective client or customer. So that is that. I want to go back to here. I think I've got, yeah, he was, so I'm going to open up the lines again. Hold on a second. I am going to, let's see here, unmute. So did anybody want to talk a little bit about, their thoughts on this so far?
Hey, Troy, this is Diane. Hey, first of all, I just wanted to thank you. This has probably been one of the best calls that I've listened in on. I thought it was all great content.
Thank you.
So I appreciate that very much.
This is Diana. For everybody's information, let me introduce you a little bit. So Diana actually became an Agora Advantage member about a year ago. She's from the tech world. She's got quite a background in it. She's done a lot of different things. She's just got a lot of really cool things that she does. But one of the things that she does is she does Facebook Live, and so that was one of the reasons I was really excited to be working with Diana in particular. So back to you, Diana. I just wanted to give you an introduction.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, Facebook Live is a wonderful tool, and it's a great way, especially when you're replaying the live. People feel very comfortable. It's almost like listening to a podcast. So, one of the things that I really believe is just sharing information and empowering people, and then the right people are going to pop up and say, hey, let's extend that conversation. And so it's a great way to sort of, especially if you're not a salesy kind of person like me, it's a great way to get information out there and build rapport and do different things, but in a calm, in a relaxed style that's more in tune with who you are. So the nice thing about a Facebook Live is they get to see your personality, and they remember you for you, which is much more memorable than just, oh, it's product X again, So I was telling Troy that I would love to, one way that I feel like I can really step in and help the team is in helping people do Facebook Lives, or even hosting them for people if they feel like that's something they want to explore. But that's what I would really like to do is lend my expertise to the Facebook Live. I know I'm going to be doing quite a few of them for a number of clients and interests, and so I'm going to have a lot of opportunity to be available for that. And also there's a particular software tool which is kind of like SEO for Facebook Live that I'd like to, maybe I'll record something and then you guys can kind of do a deeper dive and understand that element of it. But if people are looking for solutions, you want your replay of your Facebook Live to show up in Google so you get more eyes on it than just might have been on your initial viewing or your page.
That's great. Yeah, I think that's, to me, this is really exciting, because I think I've been looking for a really nice way to quickly build interest in Agora. But what I really love about this also is that, again, this goes beyond Agora in a way. What we're able to do is provide content for people who have nothing to do with Agora but want some way to interact and offer something of value to somebody they're trying to connect with on their LinkedIn connections. So, and what better way than, just casually mention, hey, by the way, I've been on these calls. They're pretty good. They're really informative. And I noticed this one was on the topic of CFOs, and I, wanted to reach out to you because I found these calls really very helpful, you might find them helpful too. It gives somebody an opportunity to, to make those kinds of valuable messaging, and at the same time, guess what? Every time that they come on, we get to promote Agora Advantage. Now, we can talk about subjects that have nothing to do with Agora Advantage. And the idea, of course, is to put a call together that's informative and fun and fast. And, and that's the idea behind it. We're adding value. We're just giving them value. But we get a free advertisement every time we do it. And I think this could be a really powerful tool, and I think it could be exponential. Anybody else? Thank you, Diana, by the way.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's good, Diana. This is Vince, and so I want to say this is really powerful too for like social proof. And with the Agora Advantage, there really is a wide open opportunity because we haven't really hit social media at the level that it could be hit. There was a lot of foundational things we were putting in there, but everything's built, everything's in place, very solid with presentation and strategies like this. There's also something like with social proof. The more people start doing this and posting, we start doing posting, everyone makes those postings, that it starts to become a recognizable name and brand. And so as you're out there, just putting the post up on LinkedIn and on Twitter and on Facebook. So I have over, I think around close to 20,000 people on my Twitter account. Like I said, over 11,000 on my LinkedIn now and 3,500 on my Facebook. Well, I can advertise those people for free. And that's the value of when you are building these connections. So when you do your postings and, those, I read a lot of those and watch, and some of those interest me. But then also when he's talking here about developing those one-on-one personal relationships and helping them build or helping them in another area, in that relationship, you'll find there's so many, the things that we offer in Agora, there are so many people out there that need them, either websites or paid traffic, or marketing things, or people look for opportunities, or business owners. And LinkedIn is such a key location to find them because you have the business owners, you're able to get past gatekeepers, and you also have people that are out there that want to make money selling products, and they're just looking for an opportunity. So this is a really great platform and a really great strategy. That's why I wanted to bring Troy, support Troy on this phone call. So good job, Troy.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Vince. I really do. You've built a great marketplace, and I think we should all be really excited about what we have available to us. I think it's got mass appeal. Like today we had the gentleman that has the tracker for mileage tracker app, and it's so diverse. There's so many different things, and just think about all the different ways we connect with people that we could finally actually make a sorry, I'm getting a phone call through here. All right. We can finally, really add value in so many different ways. And by the way, I'd like to get our the people in the marketplace, get the service providers involved in this a bit as well. Because we could have them on as guest speakers for, just to give a brief, maybe a 2 or 3 minute, summary. We want to keep these calls reasonably short because we want to keep them very exciting, keep it compact, keep it, user friendly. And so that's going to be really important going forward to do this. But the idea, I'd love to see a time when, many of us are putting these calls on together throughout a week. We need to start probably in a little bit more of an organized fashion, but I'd love to see this grow so each one of us could kind of take this idea on and use this for our own teams. And, we can support each other that way. Anybody else? Go ahead.
This is Diane. Sorry, I was just going to say that in terms of just my personal experience with the team, I think we definitely should all be friends with each other we should make a point of being friends with each other on Facebook and on LinkedIn so that we can start sharing connections. That's an easy way to
really
kind of jumpstart your numbers if you're kind of feeling like, hey, I'm starting from scratch. I mean, we as a team, and then even reach out. You can search by Agora Advantage in LinkedIn and find a list of everyone in LinkedIn. You know, it's obviously first case is try to get all your team members and then everybody else. But those are two quick things that really should be happening so that as we kind of brainstorm other ideas for whether it's Facebook Lives or YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live is coming up down the, very, very quickly, that we don't let communication be an issue, that we can quickly hop on and communicate within the team. So I would just suggest that as maybe a good first step.
I do have a LinkedIn, hold on a second, let me go back. So I think it's down here. No, maybe not here. Where is it? Let's go home. There it is. Team Inside Advantage. So if you guys wanted to connect with me there, I do already have that set up. I haven't been using much. I did post this call here, and I'm going to post a recording here. But I haven't been using it a whole lot. It just kind of got pushed to the side a bit. But this is, if you want to connect with me, this is one place where we can talk and communicate between each other through LinkedIn. Anybody else?
I wanted to say something also, Troy. As you guys, could you go over to the Agora website and just show it up on the screen?
Yep.
We have taken a lot, I've been doing internet marketing for years, and I've said this before. Can you actually go to the front of the website? And one
sure.
thing,
you want me to log out?
No, you can say log in. Just click on the left-hand side. Just click on the there. So we've taken a lot of care. I've been doing internet marketing for years, and I've been a part of different opportunities. And the landing page that the company has provided is pretty much usually useless as far as converting. But I didn't want that to be true here. So even in the last few weeks, I've even done a lot more work. But if you look at this, can you scroll down just a little bit, Troy?
Sure.
That we have it where it's now a sales funnel and can convert. When you have no credit card required, people can come in here and click and join and be a part of the opportunity without spending a dime, and then we can market to them. And when they join Agora or the marketplace through your account, that anything they buy, you get credit for. So we market to them, if they buy a website or something, you get the commissions on that. So this website is fully convertible. Go over to the marketplace tab. You can see we worked on that. We did a customer spotlight. Every single marketing value is built into this website to convert people into customers. And then potentially on the side, the opportunity. We worked on the opportunity page. You can click on that, Troy. Opportunity. And then this is also converted to bring in advisors. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because if I were you, I would start driving people to your page. Post this on Facebook. Post this on LinkedIn. Post it on Twitter, wherever you can. Post your, up here, see where it says, make sure you don't point them straight to Agora. Make sure you point them to your page so you get credit for it. It has your username involved in it. Up there you can see it's amazing right there. So that's his personal page. So just make sure that, when you point them to that page right there. And this is a highly convertible page where it can convert people it's mostly built to convert people to becoming a customer. And then on the side, opportunity. We don't push the opportunity as strong, but it is still there. So the more you get this out there, it can convert, and it has a sales funnel, and it can bring them in. When they click on it, no credit card required. And then from there, we start marketing to them slowly different products, and it will turn them into customers.
Are you able to see the chat? I forget. Are you able to see other people's the chat box, or am I the one who sees everything from everybody?
You should be able. I mean, some people might be sending messages straight to you.
Well, what I was going to do is put my email in the chat box and ask you guys if you can write to me, or you can call me. I'll leave my phone number here as well. But contact with me and let's talk, and let's see how, you might be able to work with me. If you have ideas, that's another thing. I want to refine this, and I'd like to have this up and running within a couple of weeks. So I really could use the input from anybody and everybody that thinks that they can, add some other elements to it or refine it, or, the bottom line is that I personally think this could be a really nice systematic approach to getting a whole bunch of new people looking at Agora, and that's really where bottom line is, the more people looking, the more people are going to be buying and joining. So, and especially now that membership is free, that's pretty, that's pretty cool. And the idea, once they're a member, they will probably want to know about those calls, because it's going to help them figure out the marketplace and to learn more about how maybe they could use that marketplace to build their own business. So it's a really it'd be really helpful if anybody has input. That would be great. Just give me.
Troy, I would say one other thing we're doing also is that our Monday calls are geared towards the advisors, and that's to bring the advisors the opportunity. And we spent, the first, like last year, bringing in products, training advisors, and now we've had, tons and tons of members, and we have a lot of members. And we just opened up where the membership was free. It was a change in our business model, like towards the end of last year. And with that being said, we're going to start doing calls and marketing and reaching out to the business owners directly and the members. And the calls, it'll probably be on a different day, and we will be advertising to them directly. Now remember, if that member is signed up under your name, you get the same commission on that. And we will be creating videos, landing pages, and walking them through it. So as you send this stuff out there and you start reaching out to people and you bring them over and they come into something free, it's a perfect sales funnel. And then we just say, we send out an email, hey, who would like a new website, or who needs help with their reviews, or who would like a competitive bid on their merchant account, or, we craft different emails to market to them. We'll end up with members coming on the call, and, different ones will say, yeah, I need a new website, or yeah, I'd like to help. I want help with my reviews, or I need a video made, or, I do need a business loan, and sending out the different emails. So just drive people in for free. And from there, we will be helping you close deals with them. You can't close too many deals in one setting either, so the system will work for you.
Yeah, that's the idea, is to really set up a system that's working for you, and that's what I'm really trying to help spearhead here. I noticed Jean Mayland is on the call, but it looks like she's on from her computer. But I know, I don't know if she can talk to us at all, but I know she had a way where she can download the contact information. I don't know if she's gotten any further with that approach.
I'm right here, Troy.
Hey, Jean, thank you for joining us.
I've been on the whole time.
I know.
So, yeah, you can download them, but you're limited to, there are some emails that you can get. You can't get everybody's email, and that may even be less now since they changed the format. I don't know. And I thought it was going to put, I thought you'd also be able to tell what company they were with, and they would also give a title, and that's not on there anymore either. So it used to provide a little more information. There are phone numbers on there, though. But
hey, I got a question on that. Actually, Vince, you are now a premium LinkedIn member, and I don't say that lightly. You are very premium. So Jean, with this approach, is using it from her free account. I'm wondering if it functions differently on the premium version. So perhaps, Jean, you could sometime maybe connect with Vince, show him what you did, and maybe Vince, if you get a chance, I know you're a busy guy, but if you got a chance, maybe you could test that out and see if it works any differently on the premium version.
Yeah, you have to show me exactly what you're doing, and we can talk sometime after. Also, this call, Troy, you know, after you download it, we will put this in the university too for people to know. And so, like, whatever Gene shows, and we can make a video or training on that too. Okay.
That sounds great. Well, did anybody else have anything else they wanted to add? Thank you, Gene. I appreciate your input there. Anybody else? Well, I guess we've covered it. So, Lou, we did it in a little under an hour. That's pretty good. What I'd love to do is talk to, you know, as many of you that would love to be involved to some degree, or if you have any input. And I want to start putting these calls together. My target date is 2 weeks. And then, you know, that's kind of in itself a little bit of a quandary. When do I put the call on? You know, morning, afternoon, that kind of thing. So, you know, we'll have to discuss that and see what, you know, and we can test these things as we're going along, but I want to try to, as much as I can, start with the best foot forward. So thanks, everybody, for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope this was valuable to you. I hope you see my vision. And I hope that you're gonna. This is going to be something that can really help us all and help us grow our teams and our membership and sell a lot more products. So, thanks again. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of the week.